Hello and welcome to SXZBear. I am Swiss Bear and I am joined today by Phumpy.
The person playing the game, woo!
And it's his first time playing the game. Welcome into Subnautica, everybody. I am Swiss Bear and I have played Subnautica, the first one here, probably 13 or 14 times all the way through. I've also played Subnautica 2 Below Zero. Excuse me, Subnautica Below Zero. I've also played through 4 or 5 times. Doc, another gentleman on the channel, has also played through that game multiple times. And with Subnautica 2 coming up, especially with the multiplayer being a big part of Subnautica 2, we here at the channel are quite excited. But that also means we need to break our rookie in.
Yes, sir.
Phumpy, why haven't you played?
I just never got around to it, but as soon as you and Doc said Subnautica 2 would be online, non-online survival game, I was all for it. Like, me and Bunny, multiple survival games. We've played Forest, we've played Raft, we played Minecraft. I just never got around to Subnautica because I didn't want to do it alone. No reason, like, as being scared or just never got around to it. But Subnautica 2 seemed fun. Looked at the trailer was beautiful, and then you showed me more of Subnautica 1, and yeah, dived into it literally.
Very literally. So for me, that opening scene is awesome and really sets the mood for the game. That's part of why we started the video with it. For me, it is very iconic for the franchise because it subtly told you without telling you it wasn't going to hold your hand that it's not holding your hand. Like, as little information as there was in what was happening, like, oh, ship exploded, I got hit with the thing. Like, yep, that's all you're getting.
See, it's funny. I never even thought of it as a like. I just thought it was a cool intro. I never thought of it as what happened. Like, obviously, I knew it was going to be explained throughout the story, but yeah, no, it's something that I just definitely got overlooked.
There's a lot of that here, though. There's. I'll say it wasn't until like my third or fourth playthrough that I started putting together a lot of the storyline in this game, which we'll be talking about more as it actually happens here for us. But yeah, no, storyline in this game and the way it happens is something I really appreciated after I understood how it worked. But in the beginning, I'll be the first to admit, when you start off and you start in your life pod, you put the fire out, and now what? My first time playing, I think I put 4 hours in. 4 or 5 hours before I went looking on YouTube for, like, what is this game supposed to be? Because it's beautiful, I'm really enjoying it. I've scavenged some stuff here and there, but, like, I didn't understand the blueprint system. There was so much I wasn't ready for in this game that, like I said, through 4 or 5 hours of play, it was like, so I made a few different tools and stuff, but like I still don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm trying to explore different wreckage sites, but like I never had any of the right tools for it.
Right.
So, for me, it was an extremely frustrating start to the game, but all I knew is that I thought it looked cool enough and I was enjoying everything that was happening enough that I just wanted to know how to play it. So for you, Fump, obviously, you've got me alongside you during the playthrough to help you through some of it, but for you, what was that like?
Well, okay, so like you said, if you just dived into it and you didn't see any explanation of what's going on, I probably would have shut the game down and been like, let's go play something I know, because that's just the type of person I am. It's not the best person, but it's just who I am.
And see, I tend to be somewhat that way too. Anybody that's watched the channel for a long enough time has heard the Bears complain that Swiss doesn't like certain control layouts. I hate playing with a keyboard because there's nothing intuitive about a keyboard and mouse setup. So no, it's somebody where like controls in a game needing some familiarity is a big thing, like to make it portable. Does this game remind me of a different game's mechanics so that like you can get comfortable with it? I'm just as bad. It's okay.
But having my own little personal guide, really helped out for the fact that it actually kept me in game. and ladies and gentlemen, please don't get it twisted that he held my hand throughout the entire process, because that's definitely not the case. He told me what I should be looking for and everything like that, and where to find it.
I allowed him to make a lot of his own mistakes, and you're going to see those as we go through.
Yeah. Yes. But no, having you by my side definitely was a help, and it honestly gives me a little bit of an excitement for what's to come in Subnautica 2.
So here in the early game, you're mostly just in the safe shallows. You venture a little bit off into the kelp forest here. We're talking before he builds all of his first tools. We'll be getting to those. Just calm down. Like, subscribe, those things. But in the early game, so in the safe shallows, you really don't encounter too many animals or anything that mess with you too much. However, there's the crash fish. For anybody that's played knows. Phumpy was not aware of the crash fish.
No, I was not.
So Phumpy, your first crash fish experience, if I remember correctly, is a double crash fish experience.
Yeah.
You unlocked 2 of them right away and then didn't know what was happening.
Nope, I choked.
So as far as that goes, talk to me. I do have a minor fear of the dark water. Like when it's nighttime in Subnautica, I don't go unless I've got like a sea moth or the flashlight unlocked. Like if I can't have some light, I can't bring myself to just go into the dark. I can't do it.
Right.
Did you have any fears or any, did it strike anything with you here in the early game?
Early game, not entirely. It was more annoying, and how am I going to recover from this? If it was going to be as bad as I thought it was, which it definitely was not. Again, going into this, obviously I know there is like Reapers and everything like that. I know it's not like, oh, ship crashes, get out your life pod, and boom, there's a Reaper right there. And I knew that wasn't going to be the case. But I was definitely timid for some of the noises that I was hearing when I was exploring. Like, I forgot what noise it was, but it was
gasopods.
Yeah. So coming across the gasopods, just hearing the noise when I'm just swimming, not seeing anything, and I hear a noise, I'm just like, oh, okay. Then I instantly turned around. I was just like, what the hell was that? You're just like, just keep going, you're fine. But no. No immediate fear right away. I was, again, more or less worried about, like...
More strategy-based thoughts than
correct.
Actual... for me, this was 100%. I lost myself in the environment right away. I have a love for water-based games to begin with, whether they're fishing games, fishing simulators. You've seen my laundry list of games that are literally played on the water. So,
yeah.
In the last few months on the channel, I think everything I've worked on has been water-based. Whether it's Sea of Thieves, the random fishing stuff, and now Subnautica. If we're not on the water, we're in the water. Or fishing.
But no, you mentioned, like, your first thought when you get into the game. And I think I told you before that if you didn't, like, give me, like, some sense of direction, I told you my first thought was to look at that. I looked at the Aurora, and I said, I want to go there. And I think...
I let you do it. I said, okay.
Yeah. And yep, sure shit. Then the radiation. And I was like, oh, what? Can't go there. Okay. There's steps to this.
So yeah, I mean, again, anybody questioning how big an impact SXZBear is playing on this, just enough to let him know what he should be doing or what his next steps should be or to look at. Past that, though, I'm letting him have his own experiences.
Oh, and I got them. And I learned from them. Well, I learned like the second time around, but that's a later conversation.
Another thing early game here I want to talk about is something I learned to have an appreciation for in the game overall, because I think it's a beautiful part of the art style, and it's a kudos thing to the developers. It's the fact that limestone, sandstone, table coral, acid mushrooms, coral tubes, salt. All of it looks fairly natural in its environment, to the extent that for the longest time I was bypassing those things, not realizing they were what I was looking for. And at first that was really frustrating, because it's like, oh god, why'd they make this so hard to an extent? Like, why are these so hard to pick out? By my second or third playthrough, it became one of those things, though, where it's like, I really appreciate that it wasn't like, pick me, like, hit the thing over, I'm important. Like, there are so many resources in the game that it was actually refreshing that the game didn't scream at you what to grab for resources.
Right.
So much, all the time. I really started to appreciate it later as I was playing the game, or the more I played the game. For you, how has that been?
I kind of have to piggyback off what you said, which is, it's not hand-holdy, but I mean, like, even still playing now, there's times where I will overlook sandstone. Like, I got a better eye for it now, but there's a lot of times where it's just like you drive past, or I go past it and you're just like, oh, hey, over there. I was like, oh, okay, damn it. But it's not too bad. Like you said, it's refreshing, not like it being like neon green for no fucking reason whatsoever, you know what I mean?
Right, like, even the acid mushrooms have that neon to them, but because everything else in the game has the same art style, you don't automatically look at the acid mushroom and go, well, I bet those are important.
And that's the thing too, it's like everything kind of looks as it should. Like, obviously salt and quartz is somewhat of a crystal at the base of, you know, the ocean. But like, obviously sandstone, if it was very like tan on a brown rock, you know what I mean?
Right.
Where it's just like stuck out like a sore thumb. But no, like you said, I think they did a really good job with it.
So once you get your flippers underneath you and you get used to swimming around here, we finally start building some things. Before we get to the actual building, let's talk just a little bit about how the tech tree and the schematics and stuff like that work. First time I played, like I said, I was so confused. I didn't understand what the scan tool was supposed to do. I scanned a lot of the same thing over and over again because I didn't know what a lot of things did. I made them and then like didn't have a use for them. So I ran out of storage space really fast. I had a bunch of tools I didn't really need. And that if I didn't know how to use them even. Like a grab trap. Cool. I've never used a grab trap in the game. Like, I've never come across a moment where it was like, oh, grab trap would be awesome. For anybody that doesn't know, a grab trap is literally a gravity trap. It creates like a small black hole and it pulls small objects towards it. So, like, I suppose if you went through and just cracked a bunch of limestone or something and let it sink down, that would be great to get it to just huddle together. I've seen some people use it to catch larger amounts of fish, but, like, I guess my strategy has never led me to needing a grab trap. So, like I said, I had to look up how the schematics and stuff worked. I, however, did not have a whole lot of experience in survival games. So this was I don't have time in Minecraft like you do. I've never really played a game where building things this way is what I needed to do.
Right.
It's always been like an upgrade XP system type thing or buying better equipment. So for you, how was this?
It's funny. Like, I'm not comparing it to Minecraft because I don't think that's very...
You can say that, but early on when this was first released, a lot of people were saying this was underwater Minecraft.
But, I mean, okay, so the tree and everything like that, I was very confused because when you have recipes on screen, it'll tell you that you need certain things, like, cool. And then sometimes you're gonna need like things that you need to build to put into other recipes, and you don't know that you need that unless you put that recipe on screen. So it gets a little convoluted, in my opinion.
It's not just all raw ingredients, so you have to build 2 or 3
Exactly.
things to make the thing, plus have the raw.
So that in that aspect, it gets a little convoluted. But as soon as you get your, as you said, your flippers underneath you, it gets a little bit easier. But in the beginning, it was rough. I didn't like it all that much. But again, now that I'm getting my grounding, it's pretty easy.
Okay, so that being said, we're going to play a little game here. I am going to name one of the early game tools, and you are going to give me 2 different reactions. 1, I need what your first thought of the tool was. And then 2, I need your thought after having used the tool for just a little bit now.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, so scanner tool.
Kind of pointless. There's some things, like obviously to get the parts to build like your other gun, or not other guns.
Pick up schematics and stuff.
Yep, to pick up schematics, I'm all for that. That makes sense. But if I want to scan like the brain coral just to understand what it does, cool. But I also see that pointless. Like also scanning a flower that potentially does nothing, but it has a bunch of information on it. Cool if you like the information, but it doesn't help me in game. So that's where I'm just like, yeah. So it's useful because it needs to be useful, but otherwise it's all right.
I don't feel like this opinion changed. I feel like that was your whole opinion on that.
Like prior.
Like, first time you used it, what was your thought?
Oh yeah, opinion didn't change. It was like,
right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I feel like that is a just overall opinion there on scanner tool. It's cool when I'm scanning schematics, but why did I care about the plant I can't do anything with?
Yep.
Okay. Repair tool.
It's very, I don't want to say one-dimensional. Like there's a specific thing to use it for, and after that, you don't really use it all that much. Like when you first you're repairing your life pod. Cool. Then you don't use it for a little bit. Then you find another part to use it in when you're underwater and you find some wreckage and you need to repair something. So it's very
niche.
Yeah, it's very
it's
niche.
one thing and one thing only, but it does it really well.
Yes.
So the next item is flippers.
You know what?
That's right. Tools and equipment.
I do like flippers, but I couldn't tell you when I saw a difference. like swimming around exploring. Cool, go make the flippers. Made the flippers. Okay, go exploring. Is it not the same thing? I'm assuming you just swim a little bit faster. Yeah.
The exact same picture, right? They're the exact same picture. You do swim a bit faster, yes.
Okay. Yeah, it was very very small change. So I mean, they're cool. They're all right.
How about oxygen tanks?
Oh, dude. Obviously, we need oxygen to live, to breathe, to flourish. But goddamn, that first one sucked ass. How many times I had to go up for air. As soon as you told me to build the second air tank, that bumped me up from like what 75 to like 1 something or other.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that was beautiful. That felt good.
We actually, there's actually a mistake on our part in that. I should have had you build that so much sooner. But like, we kept doing other things, and that just never really became an issue until suddenly you were exploring that one area for the first time.
And that's the thing. I think that's what makes it so a nice. This is gonna be dumb, but a nice breath of fresh air. For the fact that we've been dealing with the same shitty air tank for the longest time, and as soon as I upgraded, which should have been done a while ago, As soon as that happened, it was just amazing, and then you noticeably see the difference, unlike the flippers.
That's awesome. How about your flashlight?
I want to use the flashlight. I wish you could use two hands, like one for the flashlight and one for the other tool I'm using at the time. But
I'm not gonna lie, I would love to be rocking a scanner tool and the flashlight half the time.
Same.
That would be.
But I mean, the flashlight's cool. I think it does give a brighter light than
Sea Glide.
yes, than the Sea Glide.
The Sea Glide has like a bluish tinted light to it, and it doesn't as where clearly the flashlight is a white light because damn.
But no, I do like the flashlight. I wish I could use it more without it being a hassle.
Understood. Survival knife.
I thought it would be cool. It is cool because it's a knife, but I don't use it. I try to use it on the little cave crawlers, little bastards, and I wish the one stab would do it. Nope, you gotta hit them a couple times, and it's not powerful enough. And it's like the one and only weapon that you get. So it's like, I wish there was a little bit more. It is what it is. Okay. For the other side of it, where you actually use it as a tool, it is pretty cool. So instead of, for the leaves or whatever, instead of grabbing the leaves, you can cut the leaves and get the whole vine. That's pretty cool. It's a fun little mechanic, and I don't mind that. So
you like it better as a harvest tool.
Correct.
Okay. We'll go Sea Glide here.
Oh, dude, that is probably the most underrated one, because obviously okay, one, I want one in real life. That just seems fun as hell.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, the Sea Glide, like, obviously you get point A to point B in like 1/4 of the time that you're actually just trying to swim. No, it's favorite tool, probably always in my hand.
I'm not gonna lie, in my first playthrough, I had a conversation with a buddy who had also played the game at the time, and he kept talking up really enjoying the sea moth. And my first playthrough, I didn't enjoy the sea moth so much. And I can't even tell you why. I think I was just disappointed in what I was hoping it could do versus what it did do. This changed with later playthroughs. Sea moth is awesome. You'll understand. But I actually did my first playthrough where if I didn't specifically need the sea moth for its oxygen, I just took the Sea Glide everywhere because I thought it was faster even. I think it's because I took more scenic routes with the Sea Glide because I had to get air.
Mm-hmm.
As where after playing a few times, I really started enjoying being further underwater and like staring more at the ground or the bottom of the ocean, so to speak, and what was going on there. But yeah, my first playthrough, I used the Sea Glide way more than I should have. Like, it meant nothing to me to have to carry a couple of batteries just to swap out my Sea Glide on a trip because the trips were that far away, and like I really shouldn't have been using the Sea Glide. We're going to cover a couple things here that we did not have you build, and we're going to discuss them just ever so slightly here. Flares. It's an emergency form of light, but like it looks like an actual flare. It's just flashes brighter, not brighter. Like if you have seizure issues due to photo light sensitivity, don't use the flares.
And it's just the red light, yeah.
I don't even know if it's a red light. It might even be a white light, but like it's.
Okay, well,
just build a flashlight.
Yeah.
Just build a flashlight. Pathfinder tool. This is something that you can build fairly early on. Some people swear by it. I have never felt the need for the Pathfinder tool. So the Pathfinder tool literally allows you to leave a little light bulb of glowing light someplace while exploring in a cave or something to give yourself a path to follow on the way back out.
I kind of get that. Like, especially when we first went to the island. And I got kind of lost because I jumped into the giant pit. And I was like, is there even a way to get out? I guess it wouldn't have matters because I jumped in the pit. But finding a way out through a labyrinth of caves, if you don't know your sense of directions very well, it would be useful. But again, very situational.
There's some stuff later game I could see it being really helpful in, I guess. But like,
Get good.
So like I'm going to explore the left today. Or just take a couple of beacons with you and go explore. If you come across anything cool that you really want to check out and wish you had something else with you or whatever, leave a beacon, name it something. Come back to it. But I can't see like constantly having this thing in my inventory just on the offhand chance there's a little bit of a windy area.
Yeah.
There are a couple spots later game I could see it potentially being useful, but even then, I don't.
I was gonna say if you use it like religiously and you think it's something that you swear by, leave it down in the comments. Let us know.
Tell me why it was useful to you, because like I'm not trying to say the tool wasn't good or isn't useful. It's a hell of an idea. I just never came across a situation in the game where it was like, I wish I had a little trail of lights to follow. Not to be overlooked, but you did build the compass. This is something I have never built. I'm that guy that, for whatever reason, always triangulated my position simply by surfacing and being able to see the aurora and any other landmark that I could. And I could just find my way around that way.
It's incredibly funny because, yes, as soon as I saw the compass, like, I need the compass. I want the compass. I'm getting the compass. And now that I have the compass, I get around by surfacing, looking at the aurora, figuring out which So yeah, no, the compass is like, it's cool to have because it's not like in the way. It's not an inventory slot. It's nothing like that. So it's like, it's cool to have it, I guess. But like, yeah, I don't use it all that often.
This is another early game tool that we did not build. It is the air bladder. The air bladder is a gas-filled sack that literally helps you surface faster. Like,
okay. Is it
if you were down at the bottom, like 100 feet down, and you needed to surface faster, you'd bring out the air bladder and deploy it, and it would help you swim faster to the surface.
Okay, question I have is, does it take up an inventory slot?
Yes.
Okay, then no. I was gonna say, because like it would be useful with people like me that don't pay attention. But yeah, no, I'm yelling at myself here as well. Have better time management. Figure out where you are, how far you are from the surface. I'm pretty sure there's a little indicator that tells you how far, and just plan accordingly.
30 seconds.
Yeah, no, it seems like a really, especially if it takes up an inventory slot. That's silly.
And final tool that we're going to talk about here in the early part, because we're going to, for those of you like propulsion cannon, calm down, calm down.
Super fun.
We'll talk about that when we get to the Aurora, okay?
Super fun.
Clearly, we will talk about it. But for me, in the early game here, final thing we're going to touch is the habitat builder. For me, it was a little funky to get used to using, but once I got used to using it, I dig the habitat builder. I like building. I'm a singular base person. I like to build one base. I have a favorite spot in the game that I like to build my bases. Phumpy is nowhere near that thought process yet, or even understanding of things, so... but I do like the habitat builder. I dig how early game you can get it, but it doesn't feel useful until you've gone to the island, and gotten everything. And then same thing with having to do the Aurora. It is an early game tool because you have the blueprint for that thing like almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel like it becomes wholly useful until later on.
30 seconds.
Once you've scanned a bed and all of the other tunnel types and the grow beds and once you actually have things to build, I think that's when it really becomes a thing. But I do enjoy how that works and stuff. How about you? What are your thoughts on the builder tool here?
My thoughts on the builder tool are, I love it. Okay, pros and cons. I dislike it for its. I don't know if it's just because my thumbs are dumb, but like I find myself going to something, clicking out of it, and I'm like, oh damn, I needed that, and then going through the whole menu again, and it's to me.
It's counterintuitive.
The counter, yeah. So it's a little clunky, but for somebody that enjoys the creative side of things and building things, I have a world in Minecraft with Bunny that's been going on for like years, but that's not the point. I am super excited that there's actually a creative world. I've seen a lot of people's builds, and they're goddamn insane. So I mean that just brings a whole nother like aspect to this game, rather than going out and getting resources and playing the story. Like you can literally spend hours just building a base, customizing a base, and they add a lot of stuff where you can actually bring yourself into this game, and I think I fucking love that.
There's some rooms and stuff like that you haven't fully scanned or anything yet either, that you don't even know about, that you get to add as well.
Right.
Okay, so in the early game, we're going to talk about the potentially dangerous animals that you've encountered here in the early game so far. You've got all your tools, you're good to go, you're out exploring, you're doing your stuff. We're trying to get our first, scanning our first blueprints and getting schematics and stuff. And crash fish. Crash fish is the first thing that damages you. We've already discussed it just a little bit. But what is your thought on the crash fish? I mean, it is a suicidal fish. They are a pain in the keister, I feel like, no matter what. Is there a great way to handle them? Sort of not. They suck either way.
They are kind of annoying. But they are. Just stay away from them. You're fine. I mean, sometimes they're inevitable, but you know what you're looking for. You know how to try. You can try to avoid them.
I do love it as a thing, though. The fact that you've been swimming around the safe shallows for so long, and like if you don't go anywhere near one of the caves or anything like that, and you're just swimming in the surface area of the safe shallows, you don't ever come across anything other than something that makes a random noise here or there that really makes you feel like you're in danger. And then there's this thing. It's just coming at you like, whoa, what's wrong with this fish? What's its problem? Then it frickin' explodes.
Yeah.
I love the idea of it. This is a beautiful nature. There are actual fish in the world that, off themselves by defending their nests and stuff.
For the fact that it's probably like one of the first aggressive things that you come across, I think it's a good easier way into the deep end type situation. Like you're there, you're safe, and this one obviously explodes in your face, and you're just like, maybe I'm not as safe as I think. But this is like such a baby step. I think it's a good way to incorporate, enemies with this little guy, little one eye, little cutie.
So the next one we're going to talk about is the gasopods. Again, we had briefly mentioned them before. And obviously the little balls that come off their tail are poisonous. Or, those can hurt you. But when you see the green cloud they leave behind, that yellowish green cloud, I feel like immediately I knew that was danger.
Right.
Like, just gamer instinct told you, like, oh, I bet that's poison damage. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, hell, even before I even got close to one, I automatically knew. I was like, I should probably stay away from that. Like, even in real life, any bright colored animal or reptile or fish or anything, you probably need to stay away because it's bright for a reason. You know what I mean?
right. That natural instinct kicked in of like, huh.
30 seconds.
But again, I like that they make noise. They're a defensive creature. But it like you said, both the crash fish and the gasopods let you know, hey, you're sort of safe. Like, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. This, of course, leads us just a little bit further out of the safe shallows and into the kelp forest. And that's where we find the stalkers.
Yes.
I remember my first playthrough thinking that the stalkers were overwhelming for me. That was so much larger than you are. And its look immediately tells you it's a carnivore, it's a hunter. I, for a little bit, thought this was like one of the big bads of the game. Frankly, not realizing what was up.
Frankly, that's what I thought as well. Like, I knew there was Reapers, but I was like, yeah, whatever. That's later game, blah, blah, blah. I thought this is one of the ones that we're continuously going to be facing and having a huge issue with.
Right, only to find out that, like, they have a pretty small range. And they aren't that bad. I do love the design of them, though. It is cool that they put a predator that large that early in the game. Right off the bat, it basically surrounds the safe shallows and lets you know that, like, yeah, there's shit out here. Like, you're not... There's some nasty out here. I like them. I thought they were a good design.
Agreed.
This brings us out into what you've experienced so far. There is another animal living in the kelp forest that you have not experienced yet. That is a danger. So, at the present of this recording, folks, we cannot speak of that creature. Comment below if you know what I'm talking about. What creature can also be found in the kelp forest.
Alright, so me and Swiss are going to stop what we're doing. We're going to continue playing. Bye! I'm just kidding. So you piqued my curiosity. Now I'm curious.
It is a really, really cool fish. Really, really cool fish. So this brings us to sand sharks.
Pain in the ass.
Yep, we're out in the blood kelp forest now, and sand sharks. You say pain in the butt right away. I've never had too many problems with sand sharks. Then again, I think the first time, it was like the first or second time I ever saw a sand shark playing, I got to see from a distance one come out of its hiding spot, eat a fish, and then hide itself in the sand again. And I was like, oh, note to self, like, be on the lookout for this. So I've never had too much of a problem with the sand sharks. I do like, again, I like the design of almost everything in this game. So I'm just going to stop saying it here and say it one more time. I like the design of most creatures in this game and fauna. Flora and fauna. So I think the sand sharks are cool. I love the idea that they burrow in the sand and they come out. They put a lot of thought behind the indigenous species of this planet, 45426b.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think through this playthrough, I didn't come across a lot of sand sharks. I just knew I needed to be wary for them, and I can't see them all that well yet. There's a couple of times I was, down there getting some resources and, got bit in the ass. But, yeah, no, like, I like the way how they hide and everything like that. I think it's a really good mechanic and everything like that. It's nice.
Moving right along, this is the silent predator that keeps getting you, that I don't know. Up until recently, you haven't caught on to what they are, and that is the biters. These are smaller redfish with the little, like, lantern thing on the top of their head. Okay. Somewhat like,
anglerfish.
Yeah, that's right.
How could you forget the anglerfish?
I was waiting for you. Phumpy loves his anglerfish.
Oh, yeah.
This guy bit you probably 8 or 9 times, and you were like, what hurt me?
Yeah.
Like, I think you finally saw one. So let's talk about the biters here. For me, they were always just a nuisance.
Yes. Honestly,
nothing more, nothing less.
I was going to say, I can't think of any other way to describe them. Like, because I don't think they do a hell of a lot of damage. They don't, like, go in swarms where you're, like, getting attacked by, like, 80 of them at once. Just a little bite and then runs away. Seconds. So, yeah, just a nuisance. 100%.
Alright, so here in the early, the final thing we're going to talk about, or creature we're going to talk about, is your first Leviathan. And that is the Reefbacks. I love them. I dig the whale songs they have. The resources on their back is awesome. They feel like something that could exist in real life. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody told me one of these existed. I'd be a little surprised we didn't find them sooner.
Yeah.
Given their size. But if you were to tell me they were based on something real life, and it's almost identical, except for size, I wouldn't be surprised. I think the Reefbacks are awesome.
I won't lie to you, I didn't know that the Reefback was a Leviathan.
Yeah, he's your first Leviathan class creature.
Huh, interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, especially with the resources on the back, and they're passive, they don't fucking harm you, they just look really cool. Like, how can you dislike them? You know what I mean?
I know some people find the songs annoying, like the fact that they sing out.
Right.
Like I said, one of the things I immediately realized is more often than not, if there are Reefbacks around, there's nothing more dangerous. There's nothing overtly dangerous around. Like, if they're singing and you can hear them, that normally means you're in a pretty safe spot. There might be 1 or 2 places on the map where not so much, but for the most part, if you're running into the Reefbacks, you know that, like, the worst thing out there is one of the sharks of some kind in your immediate area. I've always appreciated that. Thank you for joining us here on SXZBear. Swiss and Phumpy really appreciate it. A like and subscribe would also be really appreciated if you've enjoyed this content. And clearly, with our basic set of tools, we're going to go exploring on the next one. Join us.